episode_number_17 you come to my office. He said coldly, hanging up the phone. When was it sold? After reaching his office, Iskander asked him as soon as he sat on the chair. Last month. He tried to keep his tone even. Why? I needed some money. For whom? Salah replied this time. Who needed the money? I used to buy a color for Imam. Iskander thought that he had made a mistake in listening. What? It was to buy paint for Imam. He repeated his answer. You sold planks for the color of 2 lakhs. Use your credit card to get a personal loan from a bank or tell me. I didn't want to give it to loan laker. And a 2 lakh ring was too expensive. You never give me that much money, he used to say with great eloquence. How expensive is it? 4 or 5 lakhs? 4 or 10 lakhs? Iskander was extremely upset. He was of Palik Pone du Kruv, which he had sold in Yeda Kruv. It was not a matter of 10 lakhs. Iskander heard him say that. Then the bill came on Iskander's head. Salah cleared his throat. 13.7. The only way he could do it was in 300,000. What? Alexander did not understand. 13.7. Salah cleared his throat once more and said the next word. Iskander could not breathe for a few moments. That was the first time he understood. 13.7 million color has been given by you. As his mind wandered, Salah was lying on the table with his fingers on the paper. Salah has given the color of 1 crore cents lakh. Jazz. Batsela looked up and saw Iskander. Alexander looked in his eyes with disbelief. Salah looked away. He was now looking at the painting behind him. Looking at his face, Jamia Sikandar leaned on the back of the revolving chair. If they call it an owl track, they say it right. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Where did the color come from? Finally he broke the long silence. From Tiffany. They expected such a name. What will be the design? This color is rare. Yes. Jewelry. Statement. It took the name of the jewelry collection in the most expensive range of Tiffany. So, there was no more expensive color. The second floor was raised. Trick hero and put it in. Alexander took out a cigar from the big cigar case on the table and said to him very seriously. A mole grew on Salah's right cheek. He must have contained his smile. Alexander thought that his smile was due to embarrassment. The ground would surely have been swept away from under his feet if he found out that he had first thought of selling 2 plots and giving him a necklace. But then he came up with the idea of a ring that the Imam could wear independently. When I read about Ranja, Fahad, Romeo, Majnun etc. in the book, I used to think that it is all rhetoric. No man can be so light. But you proved to me that it is possible. Any man can fall for any woman at any time. Salah took this indignity like a sip of honey. It was Alexander's right to disrespect him so much. Only a Shah Jahan used to spend money for his wife, that too after her death. What happened to you? As Alexander put him to shame. I have not given any wedding gift to Imam. There was a certain satisfaction in his tone. Alexander was impressed by his beauty for the first time in his life. So, give him a gift from your money, he said sarcastically. They also gave it. He surprised them by answering the joke seriously. He kept seeing the form of this king who was bent on laying down his kingdom on his wife. Putting his cigarette in the ashtray, he put it on the table and said it like a humraz. Salah, what has happened in the Imam that you have lost your mind? It was not a joke. They really wanted to know. Salah said after thinking for a few moments. That's it. She looks good. To me. At that time, Iskander was not a 30-year-old man, but an innocent 3-year-old child. Taking a deep breath, he straightened up. What is the address of this color? Price. No, Alexander was surprised. So there is no desire to impress and impress your loved ones. Also, don't talk to mummy or anyone else. I don't want Imam to know. He used to say to him. What happened to the remaining 13 lakhs? He now wants to go to school and work. 700,000 imams were given the right seal. They took it. He said without telling the actual amount of stamp duty. And the remaining 400 million were given to a few charities. Alexander's anger began to turn into a sneer. There was no use in anger. Salah saw a hopeful but meaningless smile on his father's face. And the stamp duty will not be only 7 lakhs. Are you old? How many millions was given? He said to him in a very sad voice. Salah laughed uncontrollably. Go papa, that is in millions. His guess was correct. Go to the father? Salah asked instead of answering. Alexander shook his head. He got up from his chair and came towards them. And he took Alexander with him. Then he became a master. Salah. Who is the second one? Please send his papers to me in Lahore. Alexander said. Dad, trust me. Salah said. Shut up, oh. The goose grew up. Oh, Tiffany. Statement. He was on a hunna that night when his color was noticed by Mrs. Yours. That business. The class had a big name. And she was famous for her clothes and jewelry. My wedding color. Imam smiled and said. She was holding his hand in an extremely charming manner, and her manner was creating a desire to see this color in all the women sitting on the table. The most beautiful and expensive sets of jewelry under this roof tonight. Lucky woman. Your husband has very high taste. The Imam smiled in a praiseworthy manner. What will the price be? Mrs. Zubair, sitting on the left side, also said that she saw this color in a complimentary manner. I don't know. Maybe 4 to 5 lakhs. Imam raised the glass and took a sip of water. For a moment he felt the silence falling on the table. Then he looked at himself. Raz or pounds? He looked at Mrs. Yours with surprise. Then he laughed. He thought it was a joke. And quote. My husband can't be that stupid, and quote. She said bluntly. Mrs. Uyas did not ask the question again. She does not want to tell the price. What is the price of this paint? That night while sitting on the bed reading the novel, Imam remembered a question of Mrs. Yours. Why? He was also shocked while reading a book. Everyone gave a lot of praise. He said in a very dignified manner. This is good. He smiled and turned towards the book again. Mrs. Yours asked the price and she said it would be 4-5 lakhs. They asked in pounds or pounds. I said my husband can't be that stupid. He laughed uncontrollably. What happened? He is surprised. There is no street. The street was falling. The owner said rudely. So, what's the price? Imam asked again. This is priceless. Salah held his hand and said. Anything in your hand is priceless. Still, he insisted. 256. Salah didn't take it with him. Oh good. I was thinking more expansively. She got a little satisfied and started reading the novel again. He began to see her face. It was very easy to deceive her. Imam felt his gaze on his face after a few moments. What happened? He is a masquerade. She was used to these views. I wanted to tell you something. What? You are the best thing that ever happened to me. She was surprised for a moment and then laughed. Come on. Love you. Then she laughed and blushed. Thank you. The answer was the same that always came. That time he laughed. Asterisk. Asterisk asterisk Imam. He closed the door of the car and turned back. Oh my gosh. I could not even think that I will meet you here today. How are you? He came towards her in an extremely excited manner. She was looking at him like an idol. Imam finally tried to smile. It was necessary. It was extremely necessary. He could take himself more than Jalal. He could not understand that old friend could not be bothered. I'm fine. How are you? She tried to smile. She looked the same as the last time she saw him at the bar clinic. I am totally fine. I got married a few months ago. I don't know why he felt it necessary to tell him. Did he have anything to do with it? My wife is very good. She is also an actor. She is a British national. She also specialized in Amazing Woman. For a moment, he forgot that he is also someone's wife. His wife's words for another woman from his mouth were taken from him for a few moments. Congratulations. He finally said the words he wanted to say. Thanks. I should have called you, but I didn't have your contact number. The first time you could not call, but the second time you could. You didn't contact me after that. No phone, no message. I just kept waiting. He was taking his father's approval. This Imam was very different from the Imam of 7 and 8 months ago. Jewelry worn in Kano. Jalal was also shocked. There was a color in his finger, but it was an illusion which he did not want to confirm. Imam Hashem had changed a lot. How did this question make him angry? Jalal asked him, looking at the expensive car behind him. Are you still working in the same pharmaceutical company? He wished that all the change in him was due to a bonus or a handsome package. He wanted to escape from this feeling. I answered no, he said in a soft voice. Oh good. So you are not doing anything today? Imam remained silent for a few moments. I have got married. He still didn't know that I got married. The smile disappeared from Jalal's face for a moment. Oh, well, congratulations. You didn't tell me. What does he do? You know that. Salah. Sikandar cleared his throat and said, oh. Jalal had nothing left to say for a moment. He is a weaver. I know. Jalal listened to him and started telling him about Salah's bank and his position. How do you know? He was surprised. Half the city will know your husband at the bar. Let's have lunch. We'll chat. We've met after so many years. We have a lot to talk about. He said casually and enthusiastically. No. I came to get groceries. I wanted something for dinner. Imam wanted to avoid him. He was sure that he would not insist. His estimate about Jalal was still wrong. Dude, I will do the grocery too. But after lunch, there is a restaurant opposite. We will leave in an hour. Jalal didn't finish it. I wanted to say something, but Jalal was not in the mood to listen. She asked Badal to come with him to the restaurant. How is your life with your husband? Jalal said casually while arranging the menu. He is someone else besides him. A man can be happy with her or not. Going very well. I am very happy with Salah. Good. Orange disease will not happen. Salah, and you will do it of your own free will. He tried to read Jalal's face. He wanted to do with this question. Yes. Salah has married me of his own free will. He did not ask the family, but told that the Salah thought that the man should see his own pleasure, not the family's. The Color of Jalal's face changed. A very independent thought, he tried to explain to Jalal after a few moments. Obviously, the definition of a husband who earns $1 million a year is imposed on his wife. This time he laughed and said the words to the Imam. I don't know about millions, but the definition of a good husband depends on the wife. Jalal said with a laugh, ignoring his sentence. You will have 2 children in a year. No, we're still talking at Chizzo's bar. Of course, Chizzo's bar. His tone was extremely simple, but Jalal's stomach sank. He laughed loudly. Sometimes a laugh is badly needed. Clever people need such a view. Where do you live? She hit the shoe. Then she asked innocently. Instead of saying anything to her comment, Imam told her her address. She didn't want to have any more sex with Salah. Oh, apartment. It is also rented. I want to buy a house. If you are interested, I have 2 or 3 houses in Syria. You can rent it. Jalal Ne Faison offered. No, it is not necessary. We are less fragile. Imam said, talking about whether you should come and eat with Salah one day. Curtis said something like he is just a friend and has been a friend. He could not speak. If he was insensible, too much of Jalal is in a state of flux. It is too late. He doesn't know what happened. Suddenly, he will pick up his bag and leave. Jalal is like that. He is also shocked. He is not going to bring food. No. I have to do the cooking after doing the grocery shopping. And my husband has to have the food ready when he comes home. Even today, he has some special dishes. His style was so definite that Jalal could not insist. He asked the Imam if Salah had any visiting work and his contact number. In his bag, Salah had some papers. He took out one and put it on the table in front of Jalal. Also write your phone number. He hesitated for a moment, then wrote his cell number on the back of the car. By Jalal, the name of the little man had fallen on Kara till then. Oh, are you Salah Iskandar's wife? He answered his question in a bad way. Mr. Farouk is also a weaver. Salah must know. Jalal immediately said, in a very good way. The style of this man had changed completely. He introduced Imam to his wife. Your husband is a very brilliant baker. Farouk praised him. We invited him to the wedding reception a few months ago, but we were in America. Mrs. Farouk said with great enthusiasm. How close they were to Salah, or just part of the social circle. I have a very close friendship with Imam and Salah. They are my family. Toys. Imam, he did not understand what he was saying. He looked at Jalal with a little surprise. Very nice. You came to our place one day with Salah. Farouk smiled. After exchanging a few formal phrases, he said and quote, God save and quote, and came out. But he was very upset. Hey, he's in the store. She had forgotten what she wanted to buy. She kept looking from one shelf to the other shelf with the trolley. Then, looking at the empty trolley, she thought about what she had come to buy, but out of her mind. Cranes have not even appeared on the street. She picked up a few things aimlessly and went out. After pulling the car out of the parking lot, she had a feeling that she didn't want to go home. Then she remembered all the things she was going to buy. But now again, wasn't in the mood to pick up groceries. Wandering down the street aimlessly in the afternoon, having no idea where she was going, she thought she'd done something wrong. The turn was slow and the road was forgotten. After a long time, she realized that she was unconsciously following this path. Salah's office was there. She was on Mall Road and she could not turn because of the wind. She took a long look at a signal and got stuck in a traffic jam. The car stopped and the signal was on. She was startled by the blare of the horn. She tried to start the car. She failed and became very nervous. Is it? Guy Stark is not there, Imam said to him. Then he will have to remove it from the elevator or there will be a traffic jam, he told him. By then the signal was off again. He started calling the elevator on the wireless. Guy starts trying to start the car. She fails. When the elevator comes, she gets out of the car. The man sitting in the elevator tells her to reach him in a nearby parking lot. Ask him to go there in one go. There were no taxis or rickshaws to be found in the traffic on Mall Road. But the only thing she could do was to cross the road and go to Salah's office a short distance away. After a few minutes of walking, the strap of her shoe came off. Today was not a bad day, but the worst day. She didn't want to go to her office with a broken shoe, but there was no 1 or 40. He started crying at his condition. He hesitated for a moment as he slipped his shoes on in front of the magnificent bank building, but then it occurred to him to go straight to his office. He introduced himself to Gara. I saw so much surprise and disbelief in his eyes. His dignity was also reduced. But as soon as he entered the main reception, his dignity was completely destroyed. A spacious and wide marble hall with a magnificent interior. The studio was filled with corporate clients. Lerau used to imagine her and she never came, but now she was there. She did not dare to reveal her relationship with Salah. Sikandar at the reception counter. I have to meet Salah Iskander. Have you made an appointment? Madam, the receptionist said in an extremely professional manner. Her mind went blank for a moment. Appointment. She was surprised. Instead of answering, she held it in her hand and dialed her number once again on the cell. The call was not received, but the bell rang. I am his friend, he said casually as he ended the call. He is in a meeting now. You will inform him later. Your name? The receptionist said. Imam. He said his name and sat down on one of the sofas in the hall. He had to wait for about 15 minutes. 15 minutes later he saw Salah at the reception, talking to a few people. He started to go back. The receptionist stopped him. Imam saw Salah, listening to his words and then shaking. He was lost in his thoughts, even from so far away. Salah's face was surprised. Then he smiled. He turned and introduced her to the receptionist of course. Then he came to her side without stopping. Keep up the good work, it happens. What a pleasant surprise. He came close and said he was in a very happy mood. And quot? My shoe is worn. And quot? She replied nonchalantly. She said without meeting Salah's eyes. She knew he could read her eyes. My car broke down at the front signal and the lifter has taken it to where it is. And this is your office. But maybe you didn't want to come. Because you are busy, you will miss me. They are one problem after another, he said in a casual manner. New problem. Salah consoled him by seeing his face. Sorry, ma'am, if you introduce yourself to me, I will sit in your office. The girl sitting on the desk apologized. Okay. Send someone and order shoes of this size from a shoe store near here, he said to the girl, and then the next sentence to Imam. Imam, take off the broken shoe. ? He hesitated. There is no problem. There are ablution slippers in my bathroom. Wear them and wash your feet. Then the new shoe will come. 5 gave the number of the car to the girl who came and gave some instructions. By that time he had taken off the broken shoe. Taking his hand in his hand, he brought it from the house. Feeling his hand on his hand, Imam thought that at that time there was an immense need for support. He brought his office, introducing him in a relaxed manner to the people he met on the way. By the way, how did you come here? He asked Imam while closing the office door. Asterisk, asterisk, by the way, how did you come here? He asked Imam while closing the office door. Salah waited for his answer for a few moments and then changed the subject. How old are you? Going to his table, he picked up the receiver of the intercom and said to her. He was asking over the intercom to get him some juice. When his phone started ringing, he received the call. He continued to talk for a few minutes, then he said to Imam, Imam, what is your credit card? He was surprised by his question. He had a supplementary job. In my bag, just check. He took out the wallet from the bag and then checked every part of the bag one by one. Yes, no. His hands are gone. He is not in it, he said to the 70-year-old. He said on the phone instead of answering. Of course, my wife was there. Where is the car? Imam asked. Where have you been shopping? Salah asked, coming to him. Remember that department store? What are you doing? Not sure like that. However, the store manager informed the helpline that he was trying on your sale, but you did not receive the call. Father has called me. A man brought a glass of water and juice in a tray. Salah sat down on the second sofa. Then the intercom rang again and he got up. Guy's address was gone. Where are Imam? Guy's papers? He once again put the phone on hold and asked him. Imam remembered his next folly. Guy's papers were in Guy. It came with papers and license in the car. If you get your hands on a brand new car, you get 2 things as a reward. Because the lifter touched it in the desired parking lot and left. And quat. In the cow, and quat. She said without looking at him. The answer was not the rebuke she expected. Is there a copy of the work? He wanted to send someone to fetch the cow. He kept the glass and came back once. He started digging in his bag. But there was none. Did he remember that he was in the other bag? He was very angry with himself as he wanted to run away. This time Salah did not wait for his answer. In my papers there will be a copy of my wife's work. He is also sending 2 more car keys to the receiver. He said on the phone. If you want to be fresh, my slippers are here. This offer came at the right time. At that time, she would hide her mouth wherever she wanted. After closing the bathroom door, he would splash water on his face. Have you heard that you have a girlfriend? She heard the voice of Ramesh outside. She was shouting at Salah. He laughed in response. Well, after today's stressful meeting, one of my girlfriends had a voice. Lynette and I are texting today's meeting. Her heart wanted her not to go back to the room. She wanted to disappear from this chest. On opening the door of the bathroom, Ramesh Kh came towards him in a precocious manner. Come on, your Begum came here under any pretext. Ramesh said. Meeting her. Salah just smiled instead of answering. She kept talking for a few minutes, then she said, now is the next meeting. So why are you coming? And quat. I'm coming. You're coming to the Star Curl meeting in 15 minutes, and quat. Said Hoss. Ramesh Imam was called Khuda Hafiz. You go soon, I will go to you, he said to the old man. taking out a new shoe from under the shoes lying in the room. You eat a sandwich. You made the morning. He couldn't have lunch with the clients today. He kept picking up a piece of sandwich on the table. I am not hungry. At that time it was very difficult to get food off my throat. Why are you not hungry? Have you had lunch? No, but not hungry. Then eat just one. He loved it. He thought that Salah would comment on his actions, but he continued to talk about other things. After finishing the sandwich, he asked Imam for tea, and he refused. Ask someone said to remove the cow. I am in your car and I will be in your car when you come. I leave by doing a self-review. He said, you are upset and I don't want you to comment. I couldn't speak. I am leaving myself. He said to the manager at the bank exit. You are my wife. I come here to visit the clients too. He smiled. The driver brought the car in front of the parking lot. The driver came to open the door of the car. Instead of sitting in the car, she stopped and looked at him. She wanted to thank him, but the clouds started to fall in her neck once again. Anything else, Mom? Salah said with a smile. Thank you finally. Always at your disposal. Mom, he said while spreading his arms around her and indicating her to sit in the chair. She sat in the car. Salah closed the door. In the broken car, Imam turned around for a moment and said, and what? Sure. And what? He left his face. Dino took a breath from his hand. The person who was responsible paid for it. It was not Jalal's responsibility. Then why did she expect him to show such courtesy to her? Couldn't do it. Come home, however, she was sitting in the lounge aimlessly. Today was extremely bad. The pain was a series of memories that did not seem to end. What happened to you? Salah asked him at the dinner table that night. No, the answer was as expected. Salah stopped eating and looked at him. And what? No problem. Just missing my family. And what? Said Joe. Salah didn't do it. He was just trying to fix it. He went to the study room after dinner to work. Imam tried to sleep but couldn't sleep. He lay on the bed in the dark staring at the ceiling. What happened? He didn't know what to do. His train of thought was broken when he heard the sound of the door opening. He opened the door as slowly as possible to sleep. Then he closed the door and turned on the light. Without such caution, he went to the washroom. Imam closed his eyes. Sleep was still far from his eyes. He changed his clothes and came for gold. He turned to Imam and then Imam heard his voice. Sonny, are you awake? How do you know? Don't know how, just wondering. What's the problem? For a moment, he wanted to tell her about his meeting with Jalal, but in the next moment, he shook the idea. There was no child in the bus. That's why they go out. Salah said. And what? I am right, father. And what? Said Imam, tucking his tail into his chest like a baby's. He kissed his head and began to stroke it. If there was no chapter named Jalal Answer in his life, how much better he could have been. Very happy with this person. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The meeting she had with Jalal was a coincidence, an encounter she did not want to happen again. Little did she know how dangerous the consequences of this coincidence would be for her. Not in months or years, but in days. 2 days later, he was invited to a party. At that time, Salah Kesita was meeting with some people. When he heard a familiar voice of hello, the Imam moved his neck and then he did not move. Khan Farouk, who was dating a 7-year-old with extreme enthusiasm. My wife. Salah was introducing her now. There is no need for introduction, I have already met her. Salah looked at Farouk with a little surprise. Have you met Imam? She was having lunch with actor Jalal Ansar. In fact, Jalal is our family actor. She said that he is her old classmate, and when I found out when you gave it to your visiting car, she is your wife. Farouk was in a very happy mood. Me and my wife also invited you for dinner. But he said you are busy these days. Farouk didn't see Imam's fair complexion and Salah's expressionless face. Salah didn't believe what he was saying. He could hear her. She was meeting with Jalal Ansar. But since when Imam, listening to Farouk's speech, saw him with a dry throat. I will tell him everything. He will understand my words. His expressionless face filled the Imam with a strange sense of happiness. Have you met Zahir? He saw an old man talking to Farouk. Have they come? Yes. We are talking about you now. I will meet you. They didn't turn around and come to her again. It was the first time that they didn't come to her in a party. She got a little worried. But he was still confident that Salah would not make this a big issue. Even while sitting in the cow, his silence was the same. A few minutes after the cow came to the main road, Imam tried to break his long silence. Are you angry with me? Will you please shut up? She was frozen. I want to make a comment at this time. I don't want to hear your rants. That was enough. She didn't dare to contact him again. In so many months, she saw him blindly talking to Guy. After entering the apartment, he went into the kitchen with his jacket lying on the couch in the lounge. Imam did not think he should go into the kitchen, but into Yasaka's bedroom. Wait for her. As she stood near the outer door, her mind began to fade. After so many years, she was living with a friend and a lover, but today she was facing a husband for the first time. Walking in the corridor, he took off his sandals. Only then did he see Salah taking a glass of water from the kitchen area and then sitting on a chair at the dining table. His back was facing the Imam. Empty. The glass. He was taking off his tie while sitting on the table. He was now removing the tie from his neck. She looked at him for a few moments and then came forward. She pulls out a chair and sits down when he pushes it. Sir, listen to me. Is there anything else you want to tell me? She had never seen contempt in Salah's eyes before, but she did today. Give me a chance to explain. Clarity. Explanation of what? You want to tell me why you felt the need to cheat on your husband for your ex-boyfriend? Tears welled up in his eyes. Or you will tell me what is good about your ex-boyfriend that you did not see in your husband. He lived it by his tone. You better tell me how long you've been seeing him. I met him only once. He wanted to say something in a broken voice. Salah hit the dining table with all his might. Stop befooling me, women, he shouted with all his might. Imam's hands began to tremble. Do you understand that I will count on you? You lost your dignity in my eyes today. You are nothing but a bloody cheater. He did not stop there. After going to the bedroom, he went to the study room. He tried to remove the palm of his hand by stretching his pants. His words kept echoing in his ears. The thing was not as big as Salah made it out to be, but they were not as small as Imam thought. If he didn't know about her and Jalal's past, he would never have made such a fuss about eating with a classmate. She got up and came to the bedroom. There was no question about gold. The Salah stayed up all night and did not come to the bedroom. He was sure that his anger would not end until the morning. Then it would be necessary. And he would like to talk to her again. It used to be. He came to the room at Fajr without even a glance. He changed and went to pray. As usual, he returned shortly after going to the office after jogging. He said to Imam even then, they did not contact him. Instead of Imam's removed clothes, he took off his clothes and went to the washroom. She started making breakfast in the hearty hawker kitchen. Salah came to the hawker lounge, but instead of going to the breakfast table, he went to the study room. He used to do that after breakfast earlier today. Lena meant to take. Salah has had breakfast. Imam said to him. That's why you call Jalal. He didn't say anything. And hit him. He turned white. He opened the door of the apartment and went out without stopping for a moment. How long had he been there? He couldn't speak the whole day. He called Salah twice but he didn't receive. He apologized to him through text message. He didn't reply to the text either. He used to come home around 7 or 8 o'clock every day. If he ever came late, he would inform him. But on this day, he came around 10 o'clock at night. Will it be too late? Imam asked to open the door. Salah did not answer. She just kept looking at him. Turning on the TV from the remote in the lounge, he went into the bedroom as indicated that he would come back to watch TV. Imam was sure that he would not eat the food, but still he began to eat it with a heavy heart. He changed his clothes and came to the lounge after 15 minutes. Taking out the energy ring from the fridge, he sat on the sofa and started channel surfing. Food is ready, Imam informed him. He was watching TV. Why aren't you eating? He looked away from the TV and looked at her. This is my house. Everything here is mine, and eating or not eating is my problem, not yours. There was nothing but emptiness in his eyes. I haven't eaten while waiting for you. Stop this bullshit. He was laughing in a strange way. I have certainly become stupid in your hands, but I am not stupid. Sir, you are not. What do you think? He sat on the sofa in front of him. You are right. What you thought was wrong. The people of Imam began to fall again. Why don't you listen to me? He said in a full voice. Imam, don't cry in front of me today. You are using me, exploiting me, but don't emotionally blackmail me. Seeing her tears, he became very angry. And quote. Okay, you don't want to listen. Don't listen. But I'm sorry. It's my fault. I shouldn't have met him. And quote. He said in a broken voice. And quote. You should marry her instead of meeting her. And quote. He told her. Salah is married. She could not finish the conversation. Her tears started to flow and she blushed when she finished speaking. Are you very sad to be married to him? So ask him to remarry you or divorce his wife. But what is the need to do that? You are available to him anyway. He couldn't breathe. At least he didn't expect to hear it from his tongue. What do you mean? He said incredulously. Take out what you want to take out, he said. Are you talking about my character? His face started to turn red. What is your character? He said with a twinkle in his eye. You are the character of the wedding. Marriage was not a mistake. And I regret it. He looked away from him. There was a long pause of silence. Then he said while swallowing a pill of anso in his throat. My family is Hoti Natu. I will not hear a single word from you. But don't say anything else or I will leave your house. Salah raised his cell on the table in response and called Farkan. Your son did not go No. Farkan said on the other hand. Do you need? Yes, well, I tell him. Salah turned off the cell phone. You can leave Peking if you like, but don't ever threaten me to leave my house. You are staying in my house. He got up and went to the bedroom. She sat like an idol. He didn't take out the trick, but she understood that. After a few moments, she got up and came out of the apartment. In the elevator, she wiped her eyes and face dry with her scarf to avoid the question of the receiver. And quote, look at me, and quote, he said, sitting on the back seat of the car. Saeed Imam got up from sleep and opened the door and saw Imam and was very upset. Did the landlord kick you out? She would have lost her senses when she heard it. What was the reason? Give the phone to Brother John. Imam did not call Dr. Sabat Ali in the middle of the night despite his insistence. The problem was that she did not want to disturb the sleep of the people. He himself did not sleep last night and now his head started to explode from the pain of crying. And after Fajr prayer, he lay down to sleep. He opened his eyes again in the afternoon and when he opened them, it all seemed like a wonderful dream. Salah did not call you? He asked when Saeed Ahmad came to the room. No. You have started to put food in Nahalu. Then we walk towards Bai Saheb and say, I don't know why I was hoping that he will be repenting. That feeling after leaving. He must have overdone it. 12 hours was enough to end his anger if he did everything in anger. He took a shower with a heavy heart and lying down at Saeed Amami's house, he took out a piece of clothing from his clothes and put it on. Saeed Imam forced her to eat. Immediately after eating, she wanted to go to the actor's side, but Imam is not bothered by such a conversation with the actor on his office phone. Wanted to do, but Saeeda Ahmad was not ready for this. She brought him to the house of the actor Sahib. Kulthum auntie heard everything and lost her senses. Like Saeed Ahmad did not come from office, but what did the son think about? Imam did not have an answer to this one question. Every time Saeed Ahmad and Kulthum auntie asked him, he felt that the answer to this question was making him guilty despite his clear intention. He went to eat with his friend. She never showed any good deed. She couldn't even tell the doctor who came home that she was upset seeing him like this. He is suspicious of my character. He bowed his head after repeatedly asking him how shocked actor Sabat Ali was. The actor could not speak Saeed Amami or Kulthum auntie either. No questions after. What is it? To be continued.